Hello students. In this video we will start with the third chapter in science, that is properties of natural resources. Now you all have studied about natural resources in 6th standard. Do you all remember how many types of natural resources are there? There are 3 types of natural resources, that is air, water and soil. So last year you all have studied about the air, water and soil in detail. This year, you all will be studying about the properties of these natural resources in detail. So we will start with the first natural resource now. So the first natural resource, that is air. We all know that air is all around us. We cannot see it, yet you can feel the air. You can feel the presence of air. Even when you inhale air through your nose, you can feel the air inhaling through your nose. If you blow on your hand or if you blow on someone, then we can feel that air is coming out. So that means air can be felt. Now we will be seeing about the properties of these air. Let us understand the properties of air with an example. So what you have to do is you have to take a rod and you need 2 balloons. Take 2 balloons and tie those balloons at the end of the rod. Inflate those 2 balloons. When you will inflate it, you have to see that the balloons should be of equal size. Then what you have to do is you have to keep the balloon in a horizontal manner and then take a pin and burst one side of the balloon. For example, we had burst this side of the balloon. Can you guess what will happen? As the air is released from this balloon will tilt towards this side. Why this is tilting towards this side? Because here in this balloon the air is there, but in this balloon there is no air. So that means from this what do we come to know? That here there was no air. That means there was no mass which was present. But here there was air, mass was present, and that is why it got tilted towards this side. So that means we can know that air has weight and air is a mixture of gases. In air, there are many gases which combines together. Oxygen is there, carbon dioxide is there, nitrogen is there, so many air is there, so many different particles are there, water vapors are there, dust particles are there. So all these things comprises of air. And when all these things are there in air, that means we can say that air has weight. To know the property of air, we can do a simple experiment by using a syringe. Now, if you will see a syringe, you don't have to use the needle part of the syringe, only use the plastic part. So in a syringe, you will see that a hole is there on the topmost part and at the end there is a piston. We need to pull this piston down, and as you pull this piston down, then water or air, anything can be pulled from this hole into it. So what we have to do is, in first place, we have to take a syringe and we need to pull the piston down. What will happen is the air will come inside from this hole, and if you pull it till here, it will remain constant. Okay, if you pull it more, it will remain constant. If you again release the piston, then it will remain constant at whatever place you release it. Now what you have to do in the next place is, in the second condition, what you have to do is you have to keep your thumb on this part, that is the whole part, and don't let any air come inside the syringe. Now try to pull the piston. It will be a little difficult to pull the piston, and as you will release it, the piston automatically moves in the forward direction. But here it doesn't move in the forward direction. Why it is moving in forward direction here? Because there is no air here. Okay, we have closed the hole, so we are not allowing the air to move inside. So as there is no air here, what happens is this piston again comes to its original position. But here there was air. Air was occupying this space. This space was occupied by the air till whatever we pulled it down, that particular space was occupied by the air. So that is why this was not coming back again. It was remaining to its original position. So from this what we come to know that air has some pressure in it. And this pressure is called as the atmospheric pressure. Now you also need to know that the atmospheric pressure is same in all the directions. Next is to know the effect of air pressure. That is what effect that air pressure has. So for this what we need is, we need to take a cup in which we need to fill water. Then we will take two straws. One straw we will insert in the cup and the other straw we will keep perpendicular to the first straw. Then what you have to do is, you need to blow from this straw. As you blow out, that is you are blowing in this direction, what happens is, as you blow out, the water from here, it comes out like a fountain, and a fountain of water is seen. Now why this happens is, as you blow air from here, so that means this end, which is the open end here, so the air which was present here, it releases out. That is, from here the air is decreased because you have pushed the air in the forward direction. So air is pushed from here, there is no air pressure here. So what happens is, here the air decreases and the pressure which is there outside, that is in the around this thing, here the air pressure which is there, it is more, and the air pressure which is near the straw is less. So because of this what happens is, because of the low air pressure, the water comes in the upward direction, and because of which you can see the fountain of water. So this is called as the Bernoulli's principle, and it states that the air pressure works from the higher level to the lower level, and that is why the water which was there, it came up like a fountain to the lower level of the air. So from the previous experiment we can say that when there exists a difference in air pressure at two different places, the air starts flowing from the higher pressure to the lower pressure, and we feel the breeze in such manner also sometimes. That is, winds are effect of the difference in air pressure. It is because of the higher pressure flowing towards the lower pressure. Now children, you must have seen that whenever you keep cold water or ice cubes in glass, after some time you will find that on the outer surface of the glass you can find some small water droplets. Why do those water droplets occur? It does not occur when you keep warm water or when you keep normal water, but it only occurs when you keep cold water or when you keep ice in it. So what happens is, when you keep ice cubes in the glass, the air which is surrounding the glass, it cools down. As the water vapor in the air cools down, that is why what happens is, the water vapor condenses and it gets transformed into water. And this is the reason why the water gets collected around the glass. That is nothing but the condensed water vapor, that is the air which was there around the glass. Now the same thing what happens when you keep ice in the glass and water droplets are formed. In the nature also, same things happen in various seasons. Also, the level of humidity which is there, it changes from place to place. Some places you will find that there is more humidity, if especially the place is near to sea level. And in some places you will find that the humidity is less. So why it happens that in some places humidity is more and in some places humidity is less? Well, this happens because the level of humidity of the air is determined by its capacity to hold water. Now, during night, what happens is when the temperature of air is low, its capacity to hold the water is less. At such time, जो extra vapor is there, it is transformed into water droplet and we see it in the form of dew. In afternoon, what happens is the temperature of the air is high. The capacity of air to hold the moisture increases. And as the capacity to hold the water increases, so you can feel that the air feels dry. But same thing in night if you will see, so you won't feel that dry in the night. But during the day, because of the atmosphere, we feel dry. Because the water vapors which are there, the air which is there, it has the capacity to hold the moisture in it. This same thing happens in different region also. In sea level places, the capacity to hold the moisture is different, and the places which are in desert area, the capacity to hold the moisture is different. So that is why the humidity differs from place to place also. Now in different season like in monsoon, we will see that the humidity is high and even there is dampness. Now it is because the proportion of water vapor in the air is high during monsoon. And this is the reason why we feel more humidity and more dampness. And this happens especially if you live near the coastal areas. Now the next thing is that you have to take a bucket and you need to insert an empty bottle into the bucket. When you will insert the empty bottle into the bucket, you will find that, but you have to insert it in a slanting position. You will find that there are few bubbles which comes out and then the water moves inside this bottle. So this bubbles which comes out indicates that the air occupies space. Air has certain volume and it has mass and weight. Now what happens is air is a mixture of very fine particles. Like there is dust in the air, smoke is there, mixtures, बहुत सारा moisture is there. So when rays of the light, that is from the sun, when the rays of light, they fall on these minute particles. So as these rays falls on the minute particles, these minute particles, they spread the light in all the direction because air is present in all the direction. And because of the presence of air in all the direction and the presence of minute particles in the air, the light scatters in all the direction. And this phenomena is called as the scattering of light. Now, how the temperature is regulated on the earth? So, what happens is, if there will be no air, then the temperature of the earth won't be regulated, and because of which there will be no life on the earth. So how the temperature is regulated? Now we all know that the earth receives the energy from the sun. The rays are reflected to the earth from the sun in the form of heat. Now in the earth there is presence of air, and in the air there are various constituents of air like water vapor is there, carbon dioxide is there, and many more other things are there. So what these things do is they absorb the heat into them and they even pass those heat to the other particles which are present on the air. And as they are absorbing the heat on the air, the earth's surface remains warm and thereby it becomes suitable for us to live on the earth. This is how the temperature is regulated because of the air, because they have the capacity to hold the heat. Now we also say that the temperature of the earth is increasing day by day. That means what is happening is in the air, more amount of pollution is being added by the vehicles and all those things. As more amount of pollution is added, so that means the mixtures which are there in the air, that is also increasing. More amount of carbon dioxide is there, more amount of carbon monoxide is there. And if there are more amount of constituents in the air, they will absorb more amount of heat. And as they will absorb more amount of heat, that means the temperature of the earth will become more and more warmer. And that is why it is said that the temperature of the earth is increasing, and it is all because of the pollution. Now, next thing possible because of air is the transmission of sound. Now, we all know that air has density. In winters, the density of the air increases, and in the warmer season, the density of the air decreases. So what happens is, when the density is high, you are able to hear the distant object more clearly. And when the density is low, the object is not that clear. For example, in winters, the density is of the air is high. So that is why you can hear the train whistle in the morning very clearly. But it does not happen in summers. So air is useful even for the transmission of sound, and it depends on the density of the air.